you are building the foundation for the rest of their life. Their entire neurological development is predominantly done by the first 6 years of life, and you have laid strong foundations now because you have them 24/7. Wonderful, isn't it? The first fundamental need for the brain of every individual, not only children and including adults, is these three, which is the T, V and P, which is the tactile, the vestibular and the proprioception. Very, very big words, right? Very fascinating. But let me simplify it for you. Tactile is nothing but touch. So as long as you are touching your children, how simple the activity is that as soon as they wake up, hug them a lot, give them tight hugs, starting with going to the toilet, they are touching their dress, they touch the soap, they touch water, they touch mud, the sand. If you can allow them to go outside and play, at least those who have those who are living in independent house, definitely outside. Mud, sand, stones, leaves, let them feel everything with their hands, or roll, let them feel. They need that touch as a fundamental basics. The next is V is vestibular. Now what is vestibular? The movement of your head is very important because there is a little fluid inside which maintains our balance. We need to know to walk in balance with gravity, isn't it, without falling. For this, the children's head should move. Remember when they are little children, we hold them and we really lift them up and put them down. We turn them around. So if you notice, preschoolers usually they love merry-go-round, they play ringer roses, they turn and turn like these Sufi dancers. There is a lot of turning which children enjoy. Why? Because they are stimulating basically the vestibular. So if this one is not stimulated, you can see difficulties later on. So please remember to play a lot of games where the children can hang upside down, they can go under the table, over, where their head is completely moving. A lot of dancing, jumping, I love that at home. Just ensure safety is more than enough. But if you're going outside, if you have a park nearby, definitely explore the merry-go-round, the slide, the swing. All this stimulates the vestibular. Now the P, the proprioception, again a very big word. What is it? Simple. It is just that children should know how to use each of the joints in their body. What are the joints in their body? The shoulder joint, the neck joint, the fingers, the wrist, the elbow, the knees, the toes, ankle joint. Every joint, they should know how much to move to make an effort or how much pressure to apply. So what all can you do at home to stimulate this? Extremely simple. When they are sitting, if you allow them to push objects, if you allow them to lift objects, every day, there is an idea, sometimes weekly once, if you just change the arrangement in the house, in the living room, pushing furniture from one side to other, or allowing them to lift little chairs or little tables, whatever they can carry, or giving them a tray and keeping some glass of juice and let's see if they can balance, ask them to bring you a glass of water in a tray. So all this is knowing how to use their hands and each of their joints in correct balance. It is very much important, proprioception. All of this is ideally possible if you just take them outside into the park. But if you are unable to go outside and if it's grandparents taking care of them during the day, all you need to do is explore such simple activities. Now, every activity that I mentioned here and more activities, I think it will be mailed to you or given to all of you because I've made it in a document and given it to Jofen, and it will be shared with you. So nothing to worry, everything will be shared. Very, very simple activities that can be done at home. So that is the T, V and P, which is the basic. Okay. Can we go to the next one? The next one is, once this is stimulated, then the children will start seeking the next one. The last slide, remember the child, I forget her name, but she was teaching senses, isn't it? What do you see with, what do you smell? Now she spoke about 5 sense organs. Actually, there are 8 sensory systems, but let us explore the basic 5. That is what we learned, the smell. That is the olfactory, which means children need to smell. Where is the easiest place in the house to smell? Kitchen. In the kitchen, they will get all the smells. So talk to them about different smells. Ask them about, is this a good smell or a bad smell? I'm sure you will have a garbage bin also. So you'll say, is it good smell? Let them smell the soap. Talk a lot about smell. Explore smell. They need that kind of stimulation. Okay. Visual, of course, we all know how you build on the visual stimulation is by matching. When they start matching two similar objects first, then they start matching similar pictures, then they start matching by categories. What is categories? Fruits together, animals together, vehicles together. They figure out. You don't really have to teach them. They will figure out how to group it. They will match colors. This is a lot of visual stimulation. And once, if you want to stimulate it more, depending on how old or what is the stage of your child, you can even start matching with patterns. How can you do patterns and objects? Very easy. Again, kitchen is one of the best places you can explore. So if you are busy in the kitchen, children are sitting there, putting all the spoons together is matching. Putting all the glasses together is again matching. Putting, onions in one container, garlic in one, all that is matching and visual exercises, which is fantastic. Do that. Socks in a rack, shoes in a rack, newspaper is here, their toys in a place. All this is knowing how to visually stack things in order. Auditory, of course, again, I would say the kitchen, because I am specifically talking about what can be done at home. If you take them outside to the park, automatically all of this is stimulated. So ideal is daily taking them out to some park which is nearby, keeping all the COVID protocols in mind. Let them where some place where it's not crowded. Even if it's at night, take them outside. Again, kitchen utensils. You know how children love to make these sounds. They bang on the vessels, they use the spoon. Allow a little bit, as long as you're not doing it correctly in the afternoon when your neighbors are sleeping. But otherwise, you should allow your children to explore various sounds. It could be marbles, it could be the sound of water falling while they are having a bath, the tap, the sound. Talk to them about these sounds. Talk to them about different sounds. The pressure cooker is whistling, the mixie is turning. You can play games also. What is the sound? Similarly, you play games of sounds of animals, isn't it? But if they have not seen all these animals, it might not make sense to them, So it should be the sounds which they are actually listening at home. That is much necessary, and ideally to stimulate if they are listening to noise, and they should also listen to voice. Now, what voices should they listen to? Please, not voices of cartoons. They should listen to voices of real human beings, which is their parents or their grandparents, and it should be real human voices. Very important for them to learn language skills. Otherwise, they just start imitating what YouTube or something says, and that's not going to be very good on their language development. So if you're reading a book, read to them in your voice. If you're singing a song, instead of putting a YouTube song, sing for them. They need that auditory stimulation. Gustatory, of course, this is a wonderful time to explore different taste. Actually don't put the entire thing on their plate saying eat it all up, but slowly introduce little bit of a different fruit and a little bit of a new vegetable. So don't introduce the entire vegetable in a huge quantity and then you have a struggle. But start with, hey, let's play a tasting game. So you can give them little bit of salt, give them a little bit of sugar here, let them explore different taste and make it like a game. All this stimulates the central nervous system and much needed for children also. So the next slide. Next one. Yeah. Okay. The third law, unless these two basic are met, children will start seeking it. So if you any child who's becoming very hyperactive not able to sit in a place, remember the foundation should be set. Otherwise, the overall development will not happen in a right way. So whenever you see there is a difficulty, just go down and see which one probably you haven't stimulated enough. Okay, so the next one is also pretty easy. I can play all the most. The P, A and M. Postural security, awareness of two sides of the body and motor planning. Do not get worried with these big terminologies. These are simple activities as long as your children are sitting. Now there are different ways in which you can allow your children to just sit. Just sitting can be a wonderful activity. Did you know that? What are the different ways in which children can sit for postural security? They can sit in cross sitting. They can sit in sideways. They can sit in long sitting, putting their legs together. They can sit on a table, on a chair where their leg is fully firm on the ground. They can sit in where the leg is hanging. They can be, made to sit on a little higher place where they have a little bit of balance. All this is teaching them what posture to maintain so that I keep my balance correct. Very important. Then awareness of two body sides is also much important. How? Playing ball. You can throw the ball, you can play cycling inside, you can even allow them to crawl, crawling, kneeling, where they're using both sides of their body. You can create an obstacle path in your house with a little chair, your dining chair under the dining table, under the bed. Play hide and seek. So all of this awareness will automatically come. You can hide somewhere, you just act as if you haven't found them, see where they are hiding, so they will go underneath everything. Only thing you need to do is ensure safety. That's all. So also this crossing of midline. So you ask them to use this hand and go to the other side, your left hand and to your right side, your right hand to the left side. So crossing of midline is also very important for them to be aware of both sides. You can even use terminologies like left and right can be introduced. You can say touch your right eye, touch your left eye, and see if children are getting little confused there. This is not to actually teach them. Initially start with imitation. You know how they do march past, and there are so many songs. Put your right leg in, you put your left leg. These are all songs which preschoolers we teach. Why? It was automatically giving them awareness of two sides of the body. So all these songs are needed, preferably not on YouTube channels. You should be singing it and you should be doing that with them also. Motor planning. What is motor planning? If they know how to use a spoon and eat, they can use their hands and eat. They should know how much grip to give. So just by allowing them to do their daily chores, which is what? Waking up, using the soap, how to hold the soap, how to hold the soap without it slipping, how to hold it, how to hold the mug and actually pour it on the head. So avoid the shower. If you're using shower, avoid the shower on some days. Some days it is shower, some days it is mug, some days it can be a play with the hose. So how much to press the hose. So you can really do all of these, stimulate all of these just maybe when you are giving them a bath or you're teaching them to have a bath on their own or at the dining table when you're feeding them. All of this can be stimulated. You can say, pass that for me when you're sitting on the table. So let your children set the table. Let them hold the bottle and pour water for everybody. It is stimulating all of this. Okay. The next one is again a continuation as and when they get all this. If your children are getting enough stimulation for first is the first level, the second level, the third, then they move on. Only then will the next level can be reasonably efficiently achieved. Some children get stuck in the lower levels because they're not getting enough. So they start seeking it. So in this level, you see it is the B, R and A, body scheme, reflex maturation and ability to screen input. Again, very, very big terms, nothing to worry about. What is body scheme? Nothing, just knowing where your body parts are. So you can say close your eyes and touch your eyes, close your eyes and touch your knees, or you can say, you can give a doll in front and say close the eyes, and you know how you draw the tail for the donkey. So you can do everything like a game where they should know that where my body is. I should be totally aware of my body. So when they're playing hide and seek, some children will go and hide, try to get into a tiny hole, which means they're not really aware that their body is big and won't fit. So to know, will I fit in here? Will my hand get stuck there? So some children, you see how they poke their hand into something and they say, oh my God, I am stuck. This is because they are slowly exploring and learning about their own body. So a lot of hide and seek games, lot of these obstacle race within the house, as long as you are ensuring safety, is much needed for the children. Hiding under the bed sheet and playing tent, or you say, okay, putting a towel over them and saying that, okay, where are you? Let them search and find out. All this is giving them an awareness. Reflex maturation, again, if they are slipping and falling, if they're not going to hurt themselves too much, don't go jump and save them. Allow them to fall as long as it is not too unsafe. They need to cry, they need to get hurt a little bit. Only then their brain will get stimulated to know that, oh, I have to save myself. So if I'm falling to the right side, I should quickly hold on to something with my right hand. I should not just fall and expect somebody else to come and lift me up. No, their body if they need to learn reflex maturation, they should know how to save themselves from a fall. If you are running and saving them always and quickly carrying them and say, oh my God, you will fall, don't do that, if it's a list of no's, children will not develop the reflexes that they need, because they need to slip at times, they need to fall sometimes. As long as it's not too dangerous, allow them to do that. Jumping from 2 steps, then they will jump from 3 steps. Little bit you can allow them under supervision. If all this is happening, then you will see that they're able to screen input. What is input? Input comes from, if you see on the side, there is a circle which says 8. What is the 8? We have 8 sensory systems. We have actually more, which is we are still learning about it, but currently predominantly we can talk about 8, which is what we talked about earlier, which is your tactile, your vestibular, your proprioception, your smell, your eyes, your auditory, your gustatory, and there is one more which is called interoception, which means children knowing when they are hungry, knowing when they are thirsty, knowing when they want to do potty, when they want to do susu, when they want to use the toilet, and when they are feeling pain. All that is something that comes from within the body. So this is very important. Watch out if your preschoolers should have developed all of this by now. If any of your children are still on diapers, any of your children are not indicating toilet or potty, that is something which we really need to work on and start focusing on that. Connect with the school and see, they will give you lots more activities on how to train them in toilet and potty. Much important. All that is stimulating their nervous system. Okay, the next one. Yeah, the next one is eye-hand coordination, ocular motor control, and postural adjustment. Okay, again, big words, nothing to worry. Eye-hand coordination is what? Nothing. They should know. Do they know how to sort, beading they can do. If you again take them to the kitchen, do they know how to hold little tiny things, fixing Lego blocks, using a straw and sitting? Do they know how to put little, into these block shape sorters, or anything? Can they copy shapes that you're drawing? Can they imitate an action? If you do this, can they imitate it? Can they see and also do something, which is they have to see with their eyes and do something with their hands. So anything which is called eye-hand coordination, much needed. All of these can be achieved at home itself. Now this eye-hand coordination, finally when they get to higher classes in school, is something that they will need for writing also, because they need to look at the board and then look at the the book and write. So if you have a little blackboard or if you have a whiteboard at home, don't start writing letters and numbers. If you draw a circle, can they look that and can they imitate the same? Just looking somewhere else and doing it somewhere else. See if that is possible. Ball throwing is again any bat and ball games, cricket, kicking, skittles, throwing a ball on a skittles and hitting all those skittles down, everything. Or keeping a waste basket, take all the waste away, keep the waste basket and ask them to throw the ball into that basket, a little basketball game. All of this will also encourage oculomotor. What is oculomotor? Eyes and the movement of your eyes, which means if you can play games like, okay, I'm sitting in this room, mama can see a blue bag hanging, so ask your child to go search. So they have to use their eyes and scan the whole room and search, there, I found it. So like that, you can take the child to different room or even outside and say, okay, now I can see this, can you find that? Same way, you can take turns. Ask your child to look at something and you can find it for them, and see where their interest is going and what they're looking at. Are they looking at the details or are they looking at the larger picture? It will give you a lot of insight into how your children are focusing. Postural adjustment is the same thing. How after they sit in one position for a very long time, do they know how to adjust and shift their weight from one position to other? These are things which automatically comes, but if it is not coming, it is important that you watch out and give them more stimulation on where, not at that level, you have to look on where you missed out below. Okay, so all these are important. Now the next one is auditory, language, visual, spatial, and attention. Again, auditory language means children's language development can happen only, of course, all the bottom should have been okay. Then they learn to listen to different tones and understand it is the same thing. This they will understand. Language has to be developed with flexibility, which is why we say avoid teaching them languages through screen and technology. Why? Because if preschoolers are exposed to a lot of these YouTube videos, every time you play that story on a YouTube or your mobile app, it is the same. There is no flexibility. Like you put an Old MacDonald song, every time that song is ditto. It's playing the same. But if you're singing the Old MacDonald song, every time you sing, there is a little bit changes when you sing naturally, isn't it? There are some intonations will vary. Children should learn language through flexibility by listening to human voices which are flexible. Only then they will be able to use language also in the same way. Otherwise, what will happen? They will only be able to answer to one person. I will answer only if mama asks me the question and only mama understands me. So they will not learn that the same language can be spoken in slightly different. We all don't speak exactly the same way, do we? We have different accent, we have slight tone variations, we say the same word in so many different ways. Children will learn that only if you expose them to lot more of talking. So what can you talk to children? You can read them stories. You can just talk about whatever you're doing. If you're in the kitchen or if you're washing, you can say, okay, mama's going to take this and let us put it here. Now let us add some little salt here. Now mama's going to stir. Just do like a little bit of running commentary or whatever you're doing. More than enough for the children. Don't get into a question answer session. The idea is not to teach them language. The children will learn language if you expose them to more language. But again, if there is any child struggling with language even at preschool, that is the time you have to seek help. Language is a very, very important skill, and also watch out for whatever is not there lacking below this level. Visual spatial is also the same thing, like when you play obstacle race, when building blocks are a wonderful tool. And this little picture in the side, all these are pictures of cake. Now children needs to know which is a different cake and which is different, what is different in each cake. Oh, this one has a cherry, that one doesn't have a cherry. How do I look at a 3D image and how do I build a block looking at a 2D image, which is also I should know how much spacing to give. How you can make an arrangement, you can say, no, you also make the arrangement, you can also get the child to do that. All this is important before higher order thinking skills comes. Okay, attention concentration, only if all this is there, the child will be able to sit in a place and focus only if all the bottom line is in place. Otherwise, children find it very difficult to sit and focus on anything. Forget online, even otherwise they will find it difficult to focus. Okay, the next slide. And then all of this can be easily done in your daily living activities. What are daily living activities? Going to the toilet, learning to undress. They are holding, they will know, be aware of their body. So if you allow your children to independently do these daily living activities, that will kind of stimulate the entire central nervous system. But unfortunately, what do? We quickly do it for the children, thinking that, okay, let us not waste time, let us quickly dress them up and put them in front of, and then use it with flashcards and teach them academics or ABCD. No, ideally, if you allow them to do their daily living activities on their own, which is knowing how to hold the brush, how much pressure do I put in my teeth so that my teeth doesn't hurt, is how much wide do I open, how do I open the tap, how do I cup my hand to take the water. All this is stimulating the central nervous system. So please allow your preschoolers to do their daily chores on their own. Only be there to facilitate it, because if they are making mistakes, they will ask for help. You can help and slowly let them make mistakes. Allow them to make mistakes. Do not scold saying, why are you doing this? They're little, they're tiny. They were just babies a couple of years ago. You were carrying them like this, isn't it? So allow them to make mistakes. Let them know that it is perfectly fine to make mistakes. Teach them to try again. Encourage when they're doing things independently. It might get a little messy. So if some child is saying, I will eat on my own, please don't say, no, I will feed you. Allow children to explore and eat on their own. Allow them to use their hands. You can allow them to use spoon also, but ideally if they can mix rice with hands, all this is stimulating the entire central nervous system. And if this is not stimulated enough, that is when we see behavioral issues, and we will say, oh, my child is badly behaved, not disciplined, or not listening to me, always fighting, irritable, angry, crying for. If you see a child who is very frustrated, please understand, work below, go down and see where did we lose our child in stimulating their nervous system. Why do children feel irritated? They cannot come and tell you, no, mama, I need vestibular stimulation, I need proprioceptive. No, they don't know. Even we didn't know, isn't it? So make sure that all of this is stimulated. How can you stimulate it? Very much possible indoors. Avoid the screen as much as possible, because none of these stimulation, when you make your children sit in front of a screen, whether it is a phone, whether it is a laptop, or even a television, it is only audio and visual. You cannot stimulate tactile, you cannot stimulate vestibular, proprioceptive, none of it happens. It is predominantly audio and visual. What happens is, if you overdose audio and visual, the rest will become lower and audio visual gets overstimulated. So what happens, for the brain to become alert, they will need that. Otherwise, they are not going to listen to human voices, because their brain develops in such a way that they get dependent on those kind of voices, and only then they will listen, which is, unfortunately, after the lockdown, we are seeing that in plenty in a clinic setting, where language is an issue, behavioral is an issue. So please, parents, behavior means the children are trying to communicate something to you. They are trying to say that, Papa, Mama, I need these kind of stimulation, give it to me. That is why I'm getting irritable. So give that to them. Behavior is also emotion. They are either angry, they are either sad, or they don't know how to express it. So watch out where you have lost out, and the set of activities which will be given to you, do all those activities. These are simple things which you can do at home. And the last slide, the last one, finally, your entire sensory pyramid, that is your entire central nervous system, can be stimulated. And finally, what we call as formal education or academic learning can happen only if all the below is taken care of. It is at the tip that academic learning takes place. So for any children who are struggling with academics or language or behavioral issues, what do we happen? We immediately take them to a clinic and they get labels: ADHD, dyslexia, all those labels come. It's so sad, all that they needed was a proper balanced stimulation of all the other areas in the brain. Some they might have been overstimulated, which means you need to reduce, and children will seek what their brain needs. If they feel that this is not there in me, they will go for it. So if you see there are certain children who are spinning, rocking, think that okay, maybe it's vestibular. Give them activities where there are balancing things. So all that is much needed. Academic learning, where they learn to count, they learn the concepts, they learn ABCD, that they learn abacada. All this is extremely fine skills. Suppose they are not able to understand b and d, it is a visual issue, which means probably below that they have not got it enough. So if you go down and work on those activities, which of course will be given to you, you will see that without sitting and breaking your head over academics, it will automatically get sorted if you work on the visual spatial skills. Language skills, if they are struggling, maybe it is the auditory skills which the child is having a difficulty. So see, when your child is struggling with academics, don't worry. Be in touch with the school. And what I really like about Toto School specifically is that they are facilitating through the parents. It is not, I'm hoping, it is not directly online classes with the children and you're getting a kit. That is, I would say that is the way forward. All the children are going to be homeschooled in future. The schools are not going to reopen anytime now, and it might not be safe either. We cannot be sending our children with the masks. How are we going to stimulate them if they are not going to, explore all this? So take up homeschooling. It's perfectly fine even for busy parents, as long as you remember this stimulation is taken care of, or they will become self-learners. That is the advantage of homeschooling. They will letters and numbers will just come naturally. You will really not have to sit and struggle. So I would say, dear parents, do not worry so much about, oh my god, pandemic. Not at all. Work on all these. Keep the children away from the screens, whether it any kind of screens, as much as feasible. Allow them to play. Take them outside. And if you do that initial story that I said, the same thing can be done in another way. And that's how I'm going to rephrase the story, which is the last slide. Same letters. Take vacations plenty. What is vacation? In the house itself, you can find different vacation. One day we say, hey, let us come eat in the living room. Let us put a bed sheet over here. And today we are eating here. So act as if houses, different destinations. Make it a little fun. So take vacations plenty. You can eat in the balcony one day, or you can sit and chat in the balcony one day. Offer variety of activities which will be given to you, and games, not mobile gaming, not internet gaming. Please don't do that to please preschoolers. Practice art and music. Painting, colors are wonderful. Give them loads and loads of colors. Let them paint with their whole hand. Let them paint with their fingers. Give them Play-Doh. If they put it in their mouth, give them just plain atta. Let them squeeze, do all that. Tons of games. Kitchen, the entire kitchen can be a play area as long as it is kind of safe. Allow them to use that. Art and music can again be drums also, not an issue. Behave respectfully always. When they fail, when they make a mistake, please do not say, why did you do that? Do not get into scolding. Remember, they are also dealing with the pandemic situation where they have no clue what is happening, isn't it? So be really respectful. Just because they are small doesn't mean that they don't deserve respect. They deserve the respect that you also deserve. So speak to them in a very kind manner, and then they will also do the same thing to you. If you're going to shout and scream at them for a little mistake, they will also learn the same thing. They will imitate. Little children will imitate. So they might not do as you say, but they will do as you do. Okay, so watch out. Explore opportunities. Your home is the best and the safest place for children. So be happy, but expect problems. If there are problems, just watch out for this entire pyramid. These are all Googleable information also. So all of these problems can be sorted just by knowing which is the area that you lack stimulation. Expect it. It's not going to be a smooth ride. There will be problems. Be prepared. All victories add up. Every little thing, every interaction with your child, every touch with your child, every eye contact with your child is making their brains grow. And who better than parents and grandparents to do it, isn't it? And it adds up, which will develop strong bonds between all of you. Give lots of hugs. You can never give extra hugs to children. You will never spoil them, you know. And finally, it will be, instead of the first story it read as alas, isn't it? But now it will be aha, wow, what a pandemic. We all got to spend so much time with our children. You will remember their preschool years for life, because dear parents, you are building the foundation for the rest of their life. Their entire neurological development is predominantly done by the first 6 years of life, and you have laid strong foundations now because you have them 24/7. Wonderful, isn't it? It's entirely up to you, and you can do so much, and you should take the responsibility, seek help of the school wherever you need that. And I'm sure that none of the Totos will feel dejected or bored. They will enjoy their childhood, and you can do that. Okay. So thank you to Jobin and team for this opportunity. And preschool years are the best. So make the best use of it, all of you. And congratulations hats off to the team, which is, putting this up for the parents. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.